Okay, so the time has come to go over my ridiculous battlestation PC setup, gaming setup, whatever phrase you want to use. So, let's start. Well, so kind of give you an overview here. So, this is from one corner of the room to the other. Okay, so let's start here. So this is my main gaming rig. There's currently no GPU in it. I took my 4090 out to put something else in, and I haven't really decided what to put back in for the time being. Maybe I'll put the 4090 back in. Maybe I'll test something else. I don't know. I don't really use this for anything related to the channel. From what I've found, no one really gives a crap about the latest and greatest stuff that they can't really afford. People care about more realistic stuff. So that's my fun system. So when I do Fortnite or Cyberpunk or whatever, this is what I'm playing on. Occasionally you'll see me upload videos with it, but not very often. So then we move over here. So this monitor right here is my new 4K OLED. This was the one I picked up on the deal for $500. This is the, I keep forgetting the exact model. I know the model of all my others, but for some reason it's like the 32GU95 or something like that. I can't remember, but it's the LG 32-inch dual mode 4K 240 or 1080 480 panel. I think Alienware and Asus both sell a fairly similar screen. They're around $1,200 to $1,400 depending. Then this is just a system I'm testing. This is my ITX build. At the moment, the stuff that you're seeing come up with the Radeon 6800 XT is coming off of this build here. That 6800's in there, but normally this doesn't sit here. Normally this just kind of sits in my closet, and I've had a friend needed to borrow a computer, and I handed him this for a couple of months a while back. Sometimes I take it on the road to hotels with me. Usually I don't really use it that much anymore, but occasionally I use it, so I haven't justified selling it yet. Then this right here connects to my workstation. So let me show you guys the workstation. So back here at the end of my desk is that. It's in basically the same case. So this is overkill for a workstation. I got good deals on the parts. This is an i7 13700K, 64 gigs DDR4, RTX 3080 Ti. I believe it has two 3 terabyte hard drives down in the bottom, plus a 1 terabyte. It's actually kind of dirty. I didn't realize it was that dirty. Plus a 1 terabyte SSD. And then I had a full loadout of fans, so I put a full set of Corsair QL 120s in here that are controlled by a Corsair, what do they call it? Commander Pro or whatever the heck they call that. And then this also has a couple other interesting features I put in. A Sound Blaster, fairly high-end Sound Blaster sound card, about $100 sound card, primarily because I wanted optical input. And all the audio you hear on my videos now of gaming is optical input. And then I have this, 3 Elgato capture cards. I've got two HD60, I think they're HD60 Pros, and then a single 4K 60 Pro. And most of the video you're seeing today is coming off of, or shall I say, most of my current stuff that you see, my 4K stuff, is coming off of that. And then it has a fairly generic Steel Legend board in here. I went with this board because it's cheap. It has 8 SATA ports, and it's got like 5 or 6 PCIe slots, which I needed to be able to put all this stuff in here. The case, if you're wondering, most people know what this is, but it's a Cooler Master. This one's the C700P, which is the older version. My main rig up there is in the C700M, which is the newer version. I did the LED setups don't work right on them. Gosh darn it, that's not what I wanted. The LED setups don't work right on them because of the fact that I got them secondhand for like $100 each instead of the $500 they cost. So coming out of here, you wouldn't really want all the LEDs to work anyway. Here, watch this. I think I can actually turn, I think on this one they'll turn on. Let me see here. Yeah, so it gets quite bright. This is enough to light up a room, and I usually had them off anyway, so, but they work on this one, they don't work on the other one. So then we have this giant bundle of cables, which I did a video on coming out of here, which is able to drive everything, including 4 monitors. And that's what these are up here. So this one, and then that one are all hooked up with 25-foot long DisplayPort cables. They're the fancy new 8K rated ones, which we all know won't actually run 8K, but that's great. So this is a Dell U3223 QE. I picked it up for $200 a few weeks, or about a week ago now. This is a LG GN, an LG GN 950B, I think. And that I've had for several years now. I picked it up for $500, I think 2 or 3, maybe 3 years ago now. This is an older but decent Dell. I think it's a P or a U. It's either a P or a U 2416D. It's a 1440p IPS 24-inch. I had it on hand and I wanted a screen there for music and movies and stuff when I'm working on my... So all my video editing, audio, photo, everything happens on these screens. The additional screen over here is for when I'm doing game capture right here. I have OBS up on there. And this actually, I'm not using it right now because this is in the way, but this will come once I pull it out. It's got that mount on it. It'll swivel to basically right here. And under normal circumstances, I can just set it right there when I'm working on something. And then the next setup, it's not really anything to do with what you guys normally see, but the next thing I have, this is a system that just runs my TV. This is a, the case, you guys may or may not be able to tell in the way that it's oriented right now, but it's a Phanteks Evolve Shift. Let's see if I can actually, oh yeah, I can get this out of the way. That's why my mounts are awesome. Okay. So we've got a Phanteks Evolve Shift with a an i3 12100 and a GTX Gigabyte Extreme, Aorus. Aorus? Is it Aorus? Yeah, I think it is Aorus Extreme. Aorus Extreme 1080 Ti. That card is totally overkill for the application. The purpose of that card in this application is that it's got such good cooling that it basically can always run dead silent because it's got cooling that's way overkill for a card running at idle. So that just runs silent, so I don't hear it when it's on, which I like for that use because that machine's on when I'm just watching movies. So next thing I'm going to show you guys is this. This is my balls to the wall Plex server / NAS. So this has the same board in it as my workstation. This has an i7 12700K, 64 gigs of DDR4, and another 1080 Ti. This is a 1080 Ti I've had for years. If you've seen any of my content from like 5, 6, 7 years ago that has 1080 Ti in it, this is that card. I still have it, still use it. It's got an AX850 power supply, older but absolutely awesome power supply. 1 terabyte Crucial M.2, and then it has, I believe when I looked in Windows, it has 5 18 terabyte hard drives, and then a couple of like, I think I've got a 3 and a 5, or a 3 and a 6, or a 4 and a 6, or something like that. So that fully handles my storage needs, both for my entertainment collection as well as just basic storage, YouTube video storage, stuff like that. And that machine is actually hooked up to that screen as a secondary input source if for whatever reason I need to get into it and make Windows updates, things like that. And then the TV, the one that's in the behind this monitor, the Phanteks Evolve build, that is connected to both my TV up there as well as this because this is 4K, so I have them set to mirror the two screens, so I can actually run them simultaneously. Or it means I don't have to take the time and effort to redo the video settings. I just mirror the two screens and call it a day. Okay, so next thing is over here. So this is my actual workspace. So when I'm not doing fun stuff, when I'm not doing sit down videos, things like that, this is where I'm working. So when I'm doing system builds in many cases, or cleaning hardware, stuff like that, it's over here. This is kind of a secondary setup. I hardly ever use this. I used to use it a lot because I used to do a lot of PC builds and stuff, so I don't use this a whole lot anymore. But when I do, this is a full setup. It's got the same sound system as my main sound system. It's got a nice Logitech Z5500, which I got from a guy for free off Craigslist a few years back, so I have two of them now. It's got an old Corsair K95 keyboard, which, again, I kept getting those for like 20 bucks off OfferUp a few years ago, so I have a bunch of them. And then this is a 32-inch LG 32 GN650B or something like that. It's okay. It's a VA panel. It's a 165 hertz 1440p VA panel, so kind of the generic large gaming monitor for the last few years. And then I have, like, I can do stuff like this. I do have, this is, oops, dang it. This is wall mounted, like all of my monitors, so I can pull this out if I want. And then I have this. This is the cable bundle, which I've shown my cable bundles before. This is the cable bundle where I can kind of position anything here on the desk wherever I want it. Trying to think if there's anything else of relevance. Everything else I have, it's just old PC parts, old builds, random cabling, stuff like that. The kind of stuff you need if you do a lot of PC builds. So let me flip myself back around here. Kind of show me again. Okay, there I am. So I hope you guys find that interesting. Oh, one other thing. I'm probably going to do a video on this. Well, no, I'll do a video on it later. I was going to show my studio light. But anyway, I hope you guys find this to be an interesting look into a ridiculous tech setup. All those people that you see on like Linus Tech Tips that show their setups. This is kind of my version of that. I figured people seem to be interested in those. So there it is. Anyway, thanks for watching the video.